Alright, so now that Soulcalibur is essentially done in terms of new content, I'm pretty sure I wanted to give my thoughts on the game at this point. Uh, it's like been nearly 2 years since it came out now, and as someone that really enjoyed playing Soulcalibur 2 a lot at a super casual level, um, I'm really glad that Soulcalibur 6 came back with a really fun game. The stuff that they added to it, like reversal edge and especially lethal hits. I think if you look at, you know, Mortal Kombat 11 clearly took inspiration from that, lifted it basically, and I think it's a really good mechanic in terms of showing you how to play a character or what's best to do with a character in a really subtle way, just by, you know, being like, here's what gives you a big ass combo, so, and this is the way you should go about trying to get it. So it gives you a really basic framework for a game plan right away if you don't know at all what to do, you know? So I think it's really cool in that respect. And in terms of reversal edge, I think it's. I know a lot of people were frustrated with it at first, but I think it's a really fun defensive tool that's kind of necessary in a game like this. I feel like 3D fighters are harder to play because you know you have to think about more things because of the added plane. And it's interesting. I was on Twitter the other day, and someone had brought up how, like, because you know everyone says that, oh, this fan base is toxic or whatever, and someone came on and he was like, yeah, I love the game, but whenever I jump on, I always get matched with someone with like, you know, 30,000 points, and they just fucking teabag and taunt the whole time. And you know, I was wondering about that, like, and people were saying, well, no, Tekken's worse and all this shit. To me, I actually think, not just from the session I had last night, but in the time that I've played this game, that kind of bears out. Because, like, in a way, I felt like Soul Calibur is supposed to be like the easier version of Tekken. Um, but to me, the only thing really easier about it is the movement. Because at least in Tekken, as a newer Tekken player, like, the game, everyone sort of plays the game the same way, and all the characters kind of have the same stuff, and also, like, the lows are a lot slower and they're easier to react to. And I feel like in Soul Calibur, like, the lows, they don't lead to as much, but to me, like, Soul Calibur is a game you really have to lab the matchups, because you'll get into a situation that feels broken, but really it's like, well, if you block this one thing, then the follow-up is going to leave you in this really fucked up situation. And in that respect, it feels very flowcharting. and and I've been on both sides of it. Like, you know, last night I got fucked up, and it's like, well, I held block, and you know, I fucking died for it. But, like, playing a character like Ivy, you feel it from the other side, where it's like, well, I did whatever I want and I fucked them up, you know. So really, I think Soul Calibur is a game that you need to lab, and I guess it makes people feel really popular that they need a not popular. It makes people feel really powerful, you know, and that they need to pop off whenever they get a win. But as soon as you do something that's like, you know, if you GI something, or you have an answer to something that they do, their game plan just completely falls apart. But you have to sort of get to that point first, which can feel overwhelming at times. So I mean, it's not broken, but it can definitely feel that way at times. But and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Uh, I have a lot of fun with this game, and I think it's really good. But yeah, I wanted to play Haohmaru. I've had him for a while, and especially with KOF finally getting some footage coming out soon. I imagine because Sam Show did so well that relative to a Sam Show game, that he'll probably be in it. So I want to run my team of characters, SNK characters that I've played in other 3D fighters. Mai and DOA 5, Geese in Tekken 7, and now Haohmaru in this game. I can see why he's considered mid-tier, because he doesn't have a lot of the bullshit that a lot of other characters have. The most bullshit thing about him is his damage, which can really add up pretty quickly. But I mean, he definitely doesn't have a lot of the other shit that characters have in this game. It's interesting. I was also thinking like how in a lot of other fighting games, every game has it to where like if you know more, or if another player's just doing dumb shit, you're gonna fuck them up really bad, right? But I feel like Soulcalibur is the inverse. Like I was saying, like if you don't lab, but like you consider yourself somewhat of a solid player, you sort of get punished for playing solid against stuff that you may not know what's coming, because there's a lot of characters where they want you to block because that's in their favor, and if you don't, there's very specific counters to moves and things that if you don't know you don't do the right thing. If you don't jump over a low or whatever, then like I said, you're gonna be put into an even worse situation and get fucked up pretty hard. Or if you don't, tech roll or something like that. So I mean, there's just a lot more that you have to account for in Soulcalibur, I feel like. So in that respect, to me it's a little bit harder than Tekken in a way. But yeah, I want to play a little bit more Haohmaru, and after that we'll see. I feel like I kind of did all the cool shit that I wanted to do with Ivy, even though typically, like, when a game ends, I kind of want to play my main one more time. It also feels weird having a main that's like the top tier, because I never play top tier characters. It just so happened that I really like Ivy, and she's like one of the best characters in the game. Maybe she's always been that way, I don't know. I never paid attention to it that way in the past. But yeah, we'll see. I bought Hildy because I thought she'd be cool. Oh, I mean, I always thought she was a cool character just looking at her. But I don't know if I'll kind of really like the way she plays. And so besides that, I don't know if there's anyone else that I want to play, but my time with the game has been a lot of fun, and I really like Geralt a lot too. He's awesome. He was a lot of fun to play, and Ivy, like I said. So hopefully in the future we get another Soulcalibur. But until then, seems like it's kind of hard to find rank matches, but casual mode there seems to be a decent amount of people playing, so that's really good, because I probably will want to come back to this game a little bit more in the future, because in terms of fighting games right now, there really isn't a whole lot on the horizon. I really don't care too much about Guilty Gear, and KOF's kind of like the only new game coming out that I'm interested in. So it seems like everyone will be playing this generation of fighters for a few more years to come. So in that way, it's kind of cool. Like, this is sort of the time where you do learn those matchups, and you do sort of just get good at the game, the individual game itself.